Hi, my name is Mama Eka Hakimi and my matrix number is A212942. Today, I will be explain the classical macroeconomic model question 1, A and B. For the A, first step is we must determine the income, and first step is M equal to 1 over 4 PY. Second step, we know the Fisher equation is MV equal to PY. And the third step is substitute M equal 1 over 4 PY, 1 over 4 PY, V equal to PY. And the last step is simplify to find V. And the V for the answer is 4.
Good morning everyone, my name is Dr. Suan Tian from Group C. Today I will discuss about Tutorial 1, File 1, Question 1, Part C. According to the quantity theory of money, when the money supply and velocity are constant, the product of P times Y must equal to NV. Here, NV equal to 2000 is fixed. So as real output increase, the same total spending is spread over more costs, meaning the price level P must fall. For example, while output is low at 200, prices are high at 10. As output rise to 250 and then 400, price drop to 8 and 5 representatively. This shows the classical inverse relationship between the price level and real income, forming a downward sloping aggregate demand curve. Thank you.
So hi everyone, today we're going to explain how changes in the money supply affect the nominal income and the aggregate demand curve. Okay, first let's look. The first the money supply is 500 and then that increases to 500. So the money supply is gonna be RM 1000. Okay. We can use the equation of MVPY, which is 1000 multiplied with 4. Then we got the total nominal income is 4000. Look at this, 4000. Okay. So we can determine the total nominal income with our new money supply. We got it RM 4000. Okay, let's calculate the real income using the same price level. This is price level as we derived earlier. Okay, first we got the P is 10. Okay, and then by using the total nominal income, we use 4000 divided with 10, the price level. So we got the output is 400. Nampak? Okay. So we follow by the price level is 8. So 4000 divided with 8, we get the output is 500. Okay, see this 500. And then same goes to price level is 5, and we divide the 4000 to 5, and then we got the output is 800. Just use a calculator. Okay, so this is the real income prices at the scene. And then we need to plot. Okay, plotting this point on a graph to we see the price level on the vertical axis. Okay, this is price level on the vertical axis, and the output or income in the horizontal axis, and you just plot it. The price 10, 8 and 5. This is the money supply when it's 500. Okay, so just plot it and then sketch your graph, sketch your aggregate demand curve. So the new price level the new curve is this one. Good. Okay, nampak tak? Okay, tu. when the money supply is 1,000. Okay. So, in summary, an increase the money supply leads to higher nominal income and shift the aggregate demand curve, which illustrate that in
So my name is Syafiqah Dila with Muhammad Sharudin. I will explain for tutorial classical macroeconomic model for question F. So in the classical model, when the money supply increases from 500 to 1000, the velocity of money remains constant. This means nominal income PY will also double from 2000 to 4000. So you can see that how I get 4000. For PY, I just multiply 1000 multiply with 4 and we get 4000 for nominal income, and then the price level also double from 5 to 10. Okay, so we can see how we get 10 because 1000 multiply 4 and divided for 400 and we get 4000 and divided 400 and we get 10. So that's the price level will double, and this show the increasing the money supply only affect prices, not real output, and this meaning money is neutral in the long run. Okay, so next I will explain for question G. Similarities between Fisher and Cambridge approaches. For first, if both link money to nominal income here, so both express money demand or supply in relation to nominal GDP and therefore imply that changes in money tend to change nominal variables in proportion. And second is both assume velocity or the money holding ratio is stable. So for the second is which is V or K remains stable. This means any change in the money supply will causes prices to change in the same proportion. So both theories support the idea that money only affects prices, not output, in the long run. Okay, so
about question 2, which asks us to derive the classical aggregate supply curve using the labor market. We start with the labor market, which is based on two key ideas. Nominal wages are flexible and everyone has the same information. In this market, the key variable is the real wage. That's the nominal wage W divided by the price level P. On the graph, the labor demand curve slopes down because firms hire more workers when real wages are lower. The labor supply curve slopes up because people work more when real wages are higher. These curves cross at the equilibrium point. Here, we have the equilibrium real wage and the full employment level of labor NF. There is no unemployment. Now, because wages are flexible, the market always cracks itself back to this point. If there's unemployment, nominal wages fall, restoring equilibrium. If there's labor shortage, nominal wages rise, again restoring equilibrium. So the labor market always settles at an F. Next, we look at the production function. It shows that total output Y depends on the amount of labor N used. Since the labor market always gives us an F, the output must always be the full employment output and a YF. This leads directly to the classical aggregate supply curve. On the AS graph, with price level P on the vertical axis and output Y on the horizontal axis, we draw a vertical line at Y equal YF. Why is it vertical? Because in the classical model, output is determined slowly by the factors of production, like labor, and since the labor market This leads directly to the classical aggregate supply curve. On the AX graph, with price level P on the vertical axis and output Y on the horizontal axis, we draw a vertical line at Y equal YF. Why is it vertical? Because in the classical model, output is determined slowly by the factors of production, like labor, and since the labor market is always at full employment, NF, output is always at YF. Changes in the price level have no long-run effect on real output. So, to recap the derivation, flexible wages in the labor market ensure full employment, NF. The production function turns NF into a fixed level of output YF. Therefore, the aggregate supply curve is vertical at YF. Now, for the multiple choice questions. First, the quantity theory of money says that if the money stock doubles, the price level will C also double. Second, in the classical model, changes in aggregate demand are primarily driven by B, changes in borrowing and lending. That's all for this question. Thank you. About question